Good afternoon. Welcome to the Senior Hour, which is sponsored by Comfort Keepers in Home Care and Providence Holy Cross Medical Center. I'm Barbara Cochran with my co-host,
Kevin MacDonald,
on your hometown station, 98.1 FM, AM 1220 KHTS. This is a news giving information to enhance one's quality of life. And speaking of quality of life and getting places, we have our first guest this afternoon, Nedra Barlow from NOLA Med Transport. It's good to see you again.
Yes, thank you, Barbara, for having you and Kevin. Thank you.
So what's going on with your organization?
Well, we're out in the community letting people know that NOLA Med Transport is here. We're a medical transportation company located here in Santa Clarita. We service Santa Clarita and surrounding areas. But yes, we're here.
Now, do you transport mostly seniors?
No, we transport all ages.
All ages.
Yes,
okay.
ma'am. Yes.
So you don't have a specific area that you dwell on?
No, anyone who call and they need transportation, hospital, post-op procedures, we are here for them.
That's great.
Wow,
I was checking out your website before I came on today,
Okay.
and just all the different things that you do. Can you tell us the story behind your company?
Yes. So I am a respiratory therapist, registered respiratory therapist for 27 years. 6 years ago, my mother had brain, and I was trying to balance between bedside and my mom, taking care of my mom as a caretaker. And I don't think people understand caretakers. It take a lot.
Oh, yes.
So my mom was in an assisted living in Louisiana, and I saw how transportation was such a need. There was a need for transportation. So at her, I can only take her to the door and drop her off. They didn't do door to door. So my husband and I, we thought about it. 2022, we put a business plan together. So NOLA Med Transport. NOLA, I am from New Orleans, Louisiana, but NOLA stands for Navigating Our Loved Ones with Assistance. We do door to door, so we pick up our clients at their door, even if we need to go through the door to get them, and then we take them to their appointment. We wait for them. Our mission statement, our motto is quality over quantity. So it's one client at a time.
So do you and your husband do it?
Right now, we're the only owners, and we're the operators, but eventually that will expand to more.
Oh yeah, I'm sure
Yes.
it will, especially as your company you do.
Yes. So we opened in December, and here we are.
You just opened in December. Well,
December.
congratulations. You
Thank
already got new business.
Wow,
That's wonderful.
incredible.
Name. I still get I'll remember the NOLA.
Yes.
In New Orleans. I'll remember for that, but still, it's a great name to remember.
Yes, Navigating Our Loved Ones with Assistance. So it's been a positive venture so far. We have met so many amazing people, and everything that we did at the bedside. My husband still actually works 3 days at a time, but just taking what we have done at the bedside and treating people how we want to be treated.
Mm-hmm.
So, and transportation, once you miss an appointment, it takes 3, 4, sometimes 6 months to get another one.
Right.
Yes, it does. It sure does.
And with what I have learned in these last few months, 4 months, is that a lot of families have moved far away from a lot of their loved ones. So a lot of people don't have, family or friends to take appointments. So to rely on transportation.
What's been your biggest surprise since opening up your company? Because it's been, 6 months now almost?
Almost 6
All
months,
right.
yes.
What's been your biggest
I love it. My biggest surprise is that I'm passionate about what I'm doing, and I'm meeting so many inspiring people. I learn so much because the conversations that I have with our clients in the van, you'll be surprised. Just my hello, my good morning, helping them, assisting them is something that is needed.
And so many times, especially with the elderly, they don't have people. Really don't.
Mm-hmm.
So if they had their way, probably they'd ride around all day with you.
So,
Right. So what is the service? Is it transportation or ship?
okay, so
Right?
Well, it's a little bit of both, isn't it?
no, honestly, when it was placed in my heart, 2022, I wanted to do more like a senior concierge type of thing. So I have incorporated a little bit of that into my transportation because I can tell you, one of my clients, I had to take him to an appointment, and he's with me a lot. So, but he hasn't had Kentucky Fried Chicken in a long time. I took him to have Kentucky Fried Chicken. That made him happy. So, a bit of senior concierge in there
And
as
it's
well.
rewarding to you also.
It makes me feel good.
Because you know that you're doing something that
smile.
somebody wants.
Yes, just that little smile. He hasn't had KFC in a long time, and we had it. I sat down with him, and we had KFC. So,
Wow, that's really nice.
Yes.
That's really nice. Rewarding
it is
too.
for both of us.
Yes.
So there's a new motto for you. We're more than just a ride.
We we are more than just a ride. I can't say that. But yes.
So do you go out of the valley?
Yes, we do. We go outside of Santa Clarita. We also go long distance. We had a client that needed to relocate from Santa Clarita. His son moved up north to Sacramento, took them to Sacramento.
Oh, wow. That was great.
That was his only way of getting up there.
But I see you also cover the Antelope Valley if you get a call from there, or the San Fernando Valley. Open to all those,
I'm open
all those
to all
communities.
of them. Yes, but we're based here, so we service here.
You do mostly
Yes,
here, though.
Yes.
Yeah.
But if one of our clients have an appointment that's outside of Santa Clarita and they're here, we can take them. So we go all over. We need a 24 to 48 hour notice, so we them and put them on the schedule.
That must be so much fun to do that.
It is. It really is. I can honestly say.
So, wow. So you don't that.
That's my full time. I retired after 27 years at the bedside, and my husband, I know, but that it's a need. It's a need. Transportation is a need, because even when you have a post-op procedure, like for me, if I had a I cannot. They
Right.
can't take you home because you're under sedation. So.
Right, and that's so many of the requirements now. Is
Yes.
that because Uber and Lyft has come into the world, and then yes, I've also been told you cannot take an Uber or Lyft.
No.
Who is taking you home? And if I
Exactly.
did not have a loved one in my life, then I'd be stuck.
Yes.
And that's where you all come
That's
in.
when we come in.
Well, I kind of transportation like that. The one I used the first and last time, I would use it again. I had to go to Palmdale, and I couldn't drive, and my kids couldn't come and get me, so I had to get a ride. I'm not going to say the name of it.
Right.
And he was so nasty, so rude. I thought to myself, what is he doing being a driver? You know? And I said to my kid out there, I didn't give him a tip. I didn't give him anything. I said, good riddance to bad rubbish. And that's what I told him. And it was horrible.
Yes,
It
and I'm
was.
sorry for your experience, but a lot of people, compassion is not there anymore. A lot of, things, healthcare, transportation, you have to have that compassion, because you have to treat that individual like that's you on, the other
That's
side.
right.
Because
Even getting onto a
Yes,
bus,
yes.
a bus, and most of the bus drivers that when I've been on a bus, they've been so, well, hello, how today? How are you this morning? How are you this afternoon? And that's so nice to hear someone say that.
Yes.
Because so many people now are down and they're not happy.
Well, you have to
know?
realize too, Barbara, our society, we're so busy now. Everybody's so busy. So if you just take the time, I love NOLA Med Transport. I'm able to engage and interact with people on a day-to-day basis,
Yes.
to where they call me, they want to see me, and
Oh, yes.
and we can go take a ride to their appointment and come back. So,
Yeah.
yes.
But when I think of medical transportation, I think in my head is this some sort of medical van. What if I'm walking up on that step? Because you think of medical, you're thinking, okay, is this like an ambulance transportation? Sometimes that gets into your head, right?
Right.
What's that?
Non-emergency, because we're non-emergency.
Right.
It's a van with a ramp, but we also have seats to take to the website, which is nolamedtransport.com, and they can take a look at the website and inside the van. But it's comfortable. We have seats. We're care clients with 3 ambulatory clients as well.
And put the wheelchairs in the back.
Yes, ma'am. With the clients can sit in their wheelchairs. They don't have to get out.
Oh, they don't?
No, ma'am.
Oh,
What's it
wow,
for?
that must
So you have
be
the
quite a
the
truck.
classic lift.
Yes, the classic
That must
lift.
be quite a van.
Yes, it is.
Woohoo.
So when you say it's the inside a van, it's not a medical facility. It is a
No.
comfortable way to travel to appointment or whatever they're
Yes,
going to.
Yes.
Yeah, kind of.
Yes.
That's wonderful.
And like I said, we have good conversations, so they're at ease when they leave out of the van. So
That's
just knowing
good.
that I'll be there waiting. My husband and I will be there waiting for them when they come out, so they don't have to wait for us.
And you have a positive attitude. You're an up person.
Thank you.
You are. That's the way I am.
Yes.
I always will. I always have been, and I always will be.
Yes.
My mother was the negative one, and my father was the happy one.
Yes.
And I took after my father, and my brother took after my mother, which was a shame.
Well, I always say life is a journey, and so on this journey, we just, you just want to be happy. We all on this journey
Right.
together, so it's no need to be
Any need, you know? So you go through a bad time. So what? You'll go through it, and you'll come out fine
Yes.
for the most part.
Yes.
Some people, unfortunately, but for the most part, people do.
Mm-hmm.
And I think being positive has a big, big factor in that.
Thank you.
Yeah, it really does. So, is it a brand new van? Was
It's
it
a brand new van.
when
It's a
you
brand
bought
new
it?
Ford Transit with a. We have a brand new van, and we're about to inquire, to get another one as well, because the business is growing.
Your growth, because I'm always interested in new businesses. You have a need in the community. You're exploring Santa Clarita, and what the needs are out here. And what's your typical customer like, or is there not a typical customer yet?
So, to be honest, Kevin, a lot of our customers are repeat customers.
Well, that means
so,
they like it.
yeah.
That's good. If they repeat, they want to get. They want more.
Yeah, so it's 24 to 48 hours booking, but a lot of them book in advance, a month out in advance, just so they're on the book. So we're not there's just connecting with the community. I'm part of some senior groups out here as well. That I'm just learning a lot at the bedside, working for a company and now owning your own company.
Mm-hmm.
So it's new, but I'm enjoying it. So
Good.
yes. Just getting,
That makes life worth living, doesn't it? It really does.
when you're not afraid to tackle new things and, you just kind of just go with the flow. Some days it's good, better than others, but you just keep going.
Well, it's a service, and the service
It
is going to be
is.
based on need
Yes.
and spreading the word about it. That's what I was asking. What kind of clients do you pick up? Where are they going?
So most of our clients are local here. They're normally going to medical appointments, procedures, MRI, CT scans, or just routine medical appointments. Or sometimes I pick up clients to do lab work for their appointments, or a hospital discharge in a setting, and they need to go back to their boarding care.
Okay, so you're able to pick them up from
Yes.
and bring them back.
Yes.
Wow, that's great.
So, and we go all over.
What a great
Yes.
business.
Thank you.
And
Today,
it's very rewarding,
it
too,
it
isn't
really
it?
is. It really is.
Yeah, because you're helping someone. I mean, even though they're being charged for it, since you have to earn a living, but they have a place to go and have a good feeling when they get on the van and when they get back on to come back home.
Yes.
That's great. It really is.
No, based on your experience that you had, I remember when my mom was in the assisted living in Louisiana, she called me crying, I can't get back in the van anymore. And I was like, why am I? And she was like, because, he just dropped me off in the front. She needed that assistance, especially with her brain injury, to get in there. So we do door-to-door service to make sure, because you have to be patient and understanding of everybody's needs. Everybody's needs is
Absolutely.
different.
Mm-hmm.
Like my need is different, your need, vice versa. So just being considerate and understand and listen to people about what they need.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So part of the call when what do you need? We also carry oxygen on board too for those clients who need oxygen.
Right. But
Wow,
you'll
yeah.
get off the van with them and transport them to their door.
Yes.
And that's a big thing, because in the olden
Yes, it
days,
is.
you weren't allowed to assist. And the assistance, I think, is just a massive part of it for our seniors. I know
Yes, it is.
Oh,
it
yeah,
is.
it really
You
is.
want to get back into your home, right?
Yes.
And you
Oh,
want, or
yes.
wherever you're going, you want to get to that front door, and then there's other people there to help you out.
Yes. Even just checking them into the doctor's office, help assist, signing in. Because
Oh,
most
you'll
of
go
them,
that far?
oh, I go that far. So like I say, NOLA Med Transport is a transportation company that, you have to just
That
take
one-on-one
just one-on-one,
connection.
yes.
Yes,
Because I'm
yes.
with them for that time.
Right.
That time is their time. So
Yeah, it's when my kids pick me up or take me someplace and, Mom, be careful getting out of the car.
yes.
Be careful. And then I go slowly because I don't use the walker. I don't use the sticks anymore. I'm by myself. But they're always afraid I'm going to fall. And they jump out, run around, and walk behind
And
me as I
that's-
go up the
yeah.
sidewalk, go up the steps, and go into the house.
And that's exactly how we do it, my husband and
Yes.
I.
That's
You also have certifications.
Yes.
So go back, because there's something called PASS that you guys have to go through. Can you explain that?
Yes, so we had to do a patient assessment. It's a security, we had to go through safety training.
Okay.
So not
makes
being on the
sense.
phone. It was a patient that we had to go through to make sure that we're driving safe. My husband and I, like I said, we're both registered respiratory therapists. We carry oxygen on board. So we do that medical background, even though we're not a non-emergency, even though we're not an emergency ambulance transport.
But you have to be certified for safety as driving,
Oh,
safety
yes.
with the patients
Yes,
that you're
and we
dealing
have
with.
all of those.
And you
Yes,
have all those.
wheelchair,
12
wheelchair.
12-week course or 12?
It was a 12-step course, but
Wow.
it took a while though.
I'm sure it did.
those forms. Do they have to be in your van?
No, we have them, but they don't have to be in the van. But that's part
Okay.
of our certification, along with insurance.
Yeah.
We have to have certain insurances that we have to cover as well.
But I think it adds, if you ask me, because I was looking at it, and it's like, okay, what are you certified in? How do I
Yes.
know you're a qualified person to support
Right.
me? And there's different certifications out there.
Yes.
Your company
we
obviously has
have it.
said, we want to be certified. We want to
Yes.
be for real, because anybody else could grab a van and go.
Yes.
But, these are, it brings a level of professionalism, at least in credentials,
Yes, absolutely.
which some companies don't have.
Yes.
That's great. Well, kudos to your company
Oh,
for,
well,
for,
thank
for
you.
bucking up and getting certified the right way.
Yes.
Well, it's been a job, but it's been a pleasant job.
It really has. It really has. It was a big transition bedside and doing transportation, but I actually love this so much. It brings me joy.
Well, you see different places too, and you so many different people,
I do.
and that's I would imagine for me that would be the happy part of it
Yes.
is meeting all the different people.
And then
You know?
I get to take care of a lot of different, I take care of a big range of not just a certain age group, but everybody. And seniors, I honestly feel like a lot of family move away, so they're lost, there's nobody there for them. So why not have us as their transportation?
Very nice. How do we get a hold of your company? Give us your website. All
Company is NOLA Med Transport. The telephone number is 661-600-5525. The website is nolamedtransport.com.
Fantastic.
Yes,
All
I
right.
have your card right here.
Barbara's got the card.
Oh
All right.
yes, oh yes.
Cheers, Barbara.
Well, I
Yeah.
don't drive anymore myself, except I'll take the car out and drive it around the block, to make sure that it keeps running.
Yeah.
But most of the time my daughter or my son come down and pick me up. But there are occasions when they aren't able to,
Exactly.
and that's when I have to call on a neighbor.
Yes. And if she
Or I
can't call on
Greg and Abby Nutter.
Yes.
They live across the street in Friendly Valley. No, that's good. Yeah, like I say, I have your card. So far, I haven't needed it. But
All
at
right.
some point,
Congratulations
I
on
will.
your success.
Well,
and the
thank you. I appreciate it so much. Thank you. Thank you for having
Yes.
me.
Yes, and we'll see you again.
Okay, yes, you
Oh,
will.
Absolutely.
Yes, you will.
Yes. Okay.
So we need to take a break now, Barbara.
yes,
Is that right?
Yes, we do.
All right.
Yes, looking at the clock.
All right. I'm Kevin MacDonald with my co-host
Barbara Cochran.
on your hometown station, 98.1 FM, AM 1220, KHTS.
Welcome back to the Senior Hour. I'm Barbara Cochran with my co-host, hometown station, 98.1 FM, AM 1220 KHTS. And our guest now is Adam Laraway from Focus Physical. What a great company you have.
Well, thank you.
Oh, my goodness. It has saved my life, and I need to come back in to save it again. Yeah, need a little tune-up.
That's
There
right,
you go.
huh? Well, that's what we do. We keep you moving.
That's right. So tell us about Focus Physical Therapy.
Yeah, so Focus has been in business for about 6 years. I had been a partial business owner of a clinic up in the Antelope Valley for 16 years. Lived down here and decided that it was time to be 100% owner and give back to the community. And so I decided to make the jump and open up a clinic here. And it's been very rewarding and exciting to help a lot of people. We use some technology that nobody else has, which kind of separates us. Daily success stories, which is kind of cool. Had one this morning, so.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, so.
Wait. What happened this morning?
I had a patient that came in and had some weird kind of sensation, has lost sensation. And so we were mapping last visit. So we use this piece of equipment called the Neubie. It's a direct current stimulation, and actually map on the skin the nervous system to figure out where the brain is sending a signal that's causing the problem. And so it was second visit.
That's amazing in itself.
Because it out of what we're doing, you know. I mean, you know,
So wait, back up just a little bit.
Okay, yep.
So it's mapping my nervous system.
Exactly, yeah.
Of where
So-
the pain is, or where there's
So that's what it does. So our nervous system is an electrical impulse. You know, our brain sends a signal down through our nerve, goes to the muscles, and there's joint receptors and all that type of stuff. And when you have pain, the brain is sending that signal to tell you, like, hey, this hurts. Don't do this. Don't move. Don't do whatever. And so with the Neubie, it's direct current stimulation, which makes it different. So most people have been in physical therapy. They've tried either. Those are all alternating currents, and the alternating current is actually a stressor to the nervous system because the brain doesn't understand why is this current going back and forth, that alternating current does. And direct current only goes one direction, so it actually mimics what our nervous system does. And direct current has been around forever. I mean, that's, you grab an electric fence and it, hurts, it doesn't feel good, and,
That's right.
and, it locks you up because it causes contraction. And so that was some of the that it burned the skin. It, caused that contraction, was not comfortable. And the gentleman who developed the company is called NewFit and developed a piece of equipment called the Neubie. He modified the waveform of the direct current, and we got rid of all those side effects. So it doesn't burn the skin. It turned it up intensely enough you can make it contract, but it doesn't. You can still go through movement patterns and that type of stuff. But the cool thing is it mimics the nervous system. So say you come in and we put a pad on your lower back as kind of a ground, and then we have another pad that has a sponge, and we literally will drag the sponge on your skin, on your shoulder, on your chest, on your back, and wherever your brain is sending a signal that's causing the problem, when we get over that, it duplicates the signal. And so when it duplicates up, we call them hot spots, and that's how we know where your brain is sending a signal that's causing the problem. And the signal that's causing the problem is, like, I had one woman that came in, was going to have neck surgery, had numbness and tingling down her arms, pain in the neck, and I on a spot in her wrist and a spot in her middle back. We put 2 pads on those spots, and then we took her through movement patterns with the Neubie on, and the symptoms was resolved. Didn't touch her neck. But that's where the
not where she thought it was.
Exactly.
Wow.
And so
Isn't that interesting?
yeah, really kind of cool. So morning is I had that patient. It was her 3rd visit this morning, but her 2nd visit last time we mapped her for the first time and kind of explored where we found the problem was. And it was interesting because, like, she came in today and she said, well, my back's not hurting as much as it did, so that's good. She said, but my knee is hurting now. And so we're kind of trying to figure it out, and what we kind of concluded is that the nerve in her back that has been damaged was kind of waking up again, and so all of a sudden she was happened to because that's where the nerve referred, and it was consistent with where the problem was in her back. So I used the Neubie has another piece of glove, and we can actually attach it to the Neubie, and then it makes my hand one of the electrodes. So I worked on where she had the pain in the knee for glove and using the and finished that, and all the pain was gone. Was no longer tender, didn't hurt to move it. So it was kind of cool that, you know, obviously we're waking up this nerve that had for about 5-6 years, and all of a sudden things are starting to feel better. So it was really, it was a fun morning.
Oh, good for you.
So,
What
yeah.
Wow.
great satisfaction.
That's
So-
interesting, isn't it?
It is. It's just amazing to me the different ways our nervous system, because our nervous system really kind of controls everything. To that system with 100% accuracy and figure out where the brain is sending the signal, it's pretty amazing. And then I have patients that I'm working on now that we've resolved them all, and so now we're just strengthening, and we change the frequency in the Neubie and work on the muscles and getting them stronger, so that and then hopefully the problem doesn't come.
I was telling him that my neuropathy is beginning to come back
Yep.
at night, and it bothers me.
Yep.
In fact, it's beginning to bother me now,
Yeah.
now that I'm talking about it.
Power
Yeah,
of suggestion.
it's-
Yeah.
Yes, that is power of suggestion, isn't it? But I went to him for, I don't run. it
Yeah, we
was
kind
about-
of we started
it was
off
about 3 months,
maybe 3
wasn't
months
it?
or so. Yeah,
Yeah.
back at the end, but yeah,
And I was using the Neubie.
Yep.
And it seemed to be getting better and better and better.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden, there was nothing there anymore.
Yeah.
I could walk properly. I didn't have any pins and needles.
Yep.
No, nothing. And now I feel it again.
yeah,
And this has been,
it's
It's
been
been
probably
a-
what, about 6-8 months since I've seen
oh,
you.
at least.
Yeah, maybe longer. Yeah, Kane. When I first
No,
started working, you were
no.
walking with your walkers.
Yes, that's right. No canes now.
Yep.
And I would never walk with one cane.
Yeah.
I don't understand people walk with one cane
Yeah.
because they're like this. And I'm thinking, what's the point? You're going to fall. And that's what I did.
Yep.
So I was able, they were up high, I could stand up straight, and I could walk safely. Or I could. Obviously I did,
Yep.
you know, but it doesn't
But
make any sense to me.
Some of that is because, you know, when you have the peripheral neuropathy, you're losing that sensation in your feet. And, you know, your brain is, when you're walking or standing or, you know, doing whatever, your brain takes that sensation, that input, so that you are in space. You know, as you're walking, if you're walking on, say, gravel versus grass versus sidewalk, your brain is integrating all the signals. Well, when the peripheral neuropathy happens, your brain's not getting those signals, and so you're more likely to fall because you're not getting that
I'm
input.
not getting that input.
And
That
so
makes
publishing did in Florida with the Neubie, and they did the foot bath like we would do with you in treatment for peripheral neuropathy, and they showed with study that it increased nerve conduction velocity, which is the standardized test for peripheral neuropathy, because we know that if they stick a needle in point A to point B, we know how fast it should conduct. And so when they send an electrical impulse, they can measure how fast that goes from point A to point B. And if you've got neuropathy or any type of compression or nerve damage, then that will have what's called latency, or basically the slow speed, because it's not. And so these studies showed is that after 12 sessions, we increased the nerve conduction velocity. So we increased the speed that the nerve was ability to signal, and it also showed what's called axonal regeneration. So it's actually showing that the nerves were actually regrowing. So it was really, really cool. Like I said, the study's being published right now, so I can't wait till it's done so I can see the whole I guess data set and that type of stuff. We're actually getting ready to start a new study. We're going to be part of Focus, looking at another part of the Neubie called the Master Reset. So we did that with you as well, Barbara, when you were in for treatment, but that's where we stuck the 2 pads on your neck and then 2 pads on your feet, and we stimulate what's called the vagus nerve. And your vagus nerve is responsible for balancing your nervous system between 2 parts called the sympathetic and the parasympathetic. Most people, fight or flight, you know, you're being chased by a dog, your body releases adrenaline and cortisol and get me the heck out of here.
Get out of there. Yeah.
Exactly. But then once this done, then you should go into that parasympathetic, and that's your rest, recovery, digest.
calm
So when you're
down.
sleeping, exactly, when you're eating your food, that's what helps digestion. But when somebody's in pain, they often stay in that sympathetic state. And when we do a master reset, we can actually stimulate that parasympathetic input through the vagus. And so we just had a meeting about it yesterday. Nationwide, we're going to do a study where we do 2 times a week for 4 weeks, master reset on every patient, and we're going to run what's called a heart rate variability test. That's how we measure that parasympathetic activity, and then look at all the data between all the clinics nationwide to see and basically hopefully prove that we are stimulating that vagus nerve and in that parasympathetic activity that we're looking for.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow,
pretty cool
well,
stuff. I'm
So
excited.
Barbara, you've been reset.
I'm back. I even started taking the gabapentin again,
Uh-oh,
and it's not.
you were off of that.
I know,
Yeah.
and it's not helping.
Yeah,
So
gotta get you back
I
in.
got to get back in,
for sure. Yeah.
and because it really, really helped.
Yeah.
And it just stopped it completely. It was
Yeah.
amazing.
And as well, in addition to what we were doing with the foot bath
Right.
and the glove, and actually we used quite a bit of that
Yeah,
with you,
you
I guess.
did. You did the whole gamut on
Yeah.
me. I
Yeah.
remember.
So it definitely helps, but obviously, we didn't get it all the way gone, so now some of it's starting to kind of come
It's
back a little
crazy.
bit.
Well, neuropathy, I think, comes in different parts of the body
It
too.
can, yeah, you can have it in your,
Because Russ had it in his shoulders, and the neuropathy. Of course, he didn't come to you.
Yeah.
He didn't want to.
Yeah.
Fine.
yeah,
But,
But when you talk about the research, and who do you connect with on a national level? Obviously, physical therapists
Yes.
and other groups. Can you share that? Because it's
Yeah.
not just you in hometown Santa Clarita
right, yeah,
getting information.
yeah. So it's just part of the journey of actually being part of Focus. So when I decided to open Focus, I hired a business coach, and it just happened to be that the director of physical therapy for Neubie, because the Neubie was pretty new to the market. It was only approved for FDA clearance in September of 2017, and I started this in August of 2018. And so it just happened that my business coach was hired by the director of physical therapy for NewFit, and so when he started to learn about it, had experienced it himself, he's like, Adam, you got to talk to, his name's Jason, he's like, you got to talk to Jason and go see this thing. This is like something we've never seen before. And so I called and talked to Jason, and a little skeptical, to be honest with you. I mean, I've seen a lot of that type of stuff before, all these new and big things. Decided to fly to Tampa, and I trained with Jason for 4 days, and I got to see it firsthand on myself and also on patients, and I was sold. And so that was kind of how we started that. And at the time, I think there was only about 25 practitioners nationwide that were using the Neubie. Now I think we're over 25, so it's really grown. But being one of the first adopters of this research and this equipment, invited me last year. I went to Austin and I became one of their master level instructors because I've been using it one of the longest of all the practitioners. So there's a group of about 20 of us that are considered kind of the national, master level instructors that use the Neubie. People can actually come to my clinic and learn how to use the and so that's how this network has developed, because at first there was only a few states that had them, and now it's really kind of expanded, and not states. I think there's a few still that don't have them, but for the most part they're all over now. There was only 2 in California, and I know that there's at least 9 now. So it's definitely catching on. The Dodgers are using it. They and a lot of the professional sports teams. Carl likes to say, that Saquon Barkley, that's his cheat code. That's why he had such a good year with us. There's a lot of truth to that, because Garrett flew out and trained him in his basement because he wasn't going to make it back when he was with the Giants. So it definitely, that firsthand experience was.
Blame us on the Giants and their coaching.
Right, exactly, yeah.
well, now, what's causing my neuropathy to come back again?
Well, obviously it's something in your nervous system. So the nerves have and this may be better to talk about more in depthly after, but protein called the myelin that goes around it, and if it's starting to degenerate, then the nerve can't conduct. and then you start to lose some of those genes. And so that's one of those things I was talking about, the axonal regeneration that the Neubie does, is to restore that and get those nerves to regrow. And
Well, the thing that helps me is walking.
yeah, well, that's good. I mean, that gets circulation and
Walking,
blood
and,
flow.
and then when I'm not outside walking, I'm on the bike,
that
and
reciprocal
that's
motion
still
helps
moving
too. Absolutely.
your feet.
Yeah. And
But
you-
now, like sitting here
Yeah.
and going to bed at night, oh, and I finally do go to sleep
yeah.
because
Yeah.
it does stop. But
Speaking of going to sleep, Barbara, we need to take a break now.
oh, okay, let's do that.
My co-host
Barbara Cochran.
on your hometown station, 98.1 FM, AM 1220, KHTS.
Welcome back to the Senior Hour. I'm Barbara Cochran with host on your hometown station, 98.1 FM, AM 1220 KHTS. And we're speaking with Adam Laraway from Focus Physical Therapy. Okay, let's continue our wonderful conversation.
Hey, but first of all, can you give us your background? You're here, and I know you told the story about and,
Yeah.
and getting that, but I also saw all the initials after your name.
Yeah.
I got PT this, MSPT
yeah,
this,
yeah,
CH this. What does all that mean?
Yep. Well, if you go way back, so the reason I got interested in physical therapy is I was a patient when I was 17. I was a pitcher and playing baseball, and was told I needed surgery. And at 17, I didn't want to do surgery, and so I went through therapy. And I thought, hey, this is pretty cool stuff, and didn't need surgery. Was able to do what I needed to do. And so then I volunteered. I was a patient after I was done, and then they ended up hiring me as a physical therapy aide. So I got to work with the patients and do all that type of stuff, and that was kind of my journey. I applied, went to college and got my degree for pre-physical therapy, and then applied to PT school, which is really, really competitive, and I got in luckily on my first try. So I was kind of the baby of the class, which was fun, and so that was 7 years of school. Wow. You come out with that. I mean, because I've been a PT for almost 25, almost 26 years now. That you come out. I came out at that time with a master's of physical therapy. Now they have to have a doctorate of physical therapy, which we actually had some exciting news at Focus because a therapist that just passed his exam, we got results yesterday, and so he will be taking new patients here starting tomorrow.
All right.
So super. Doctor. I think that would change happened back in 2008.
But you didn't have to get your
I didn't have to.
doctorate.
I was grandfathered in with a master's of therapy. So
And
I went to Pacific University up in Oregon.
nice.
That's where I was originally from, and came down here to go for my wife to go to grad school at Pepperdine. I was supposed to be here for 2 years, 5 years ago.
Wow, Pepperdine, you got a smart one on your hands.
Right, yeah, exactly, yeah.
Wonderful.
So
That's
anyway,
great.
so the credentials is I'm a licensed physical therapist. My degree is of Science in Physical Therapy, and then I also have a certified health coaching degree. And the reason I got that was for physical therapists, they have kind of what they call your scope of practice, and so you can only talk about physical therapy stuff. And it seems a little bit ridiculous, but we really can't tell you to take Advil or Tylenol or really talk to you much about nutrition and that type of stuff. And so by
Interesting.
becoming a certified health coach, it gives me a little bit spectrum of my scope of practice. So I can talk to people about that type of stuff with supplementation and that type of stuff, with nutrition and what's important. And it really makes sense because, if I can tell you to do exercises or do some manual therapy with you, but if you're not sleeping correctly, getting enough sleep, because that's when your body heals, it's going to be kind of like one step forward, one step back. You got to sleep. That's when your body heals all those tissues that are inflamed and irritated. And if you're putting junk in the tank, food-wise, that's causing inflammation, and that's not going to help either. And so being able to educate, proper diet and nutrition and, what's going to help for that healing process is very important. So that's why I got that certification as a certified health coach, just to kind of be able to talk to patients about all aspects of their health and their care.
Wow. So
Yeah,
we got to
the-
add to your practice. That's wonderful.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Rounds the whole
But it was interesting. In a magazine this past week,
Yeah.
there was an article about how seniors eat and what they should eat and
Yep.
what they shouldn't eat.
Yep.
It was a very interesting article.
I can only imagine because unfortunately our food industry is not doing us any favors with all the
Right.
type of stuff, and you're starting to see a lot of these things are going to be banned because they're linking them to some of these problems,
That's
peripheral
right.
neuropathy and that type of stuff, because that's an inflammatory condition. So it's really, really important.
Hey, before we check out of here, though, could you?
Yeah.
Because I asked you at the break.
Yeah.
You know, when do we use you? I've never used a physical therapist
For
before.
sure.
Never thought about it, but now getting injured when I get older.
Yeah.
When should a person tap into physical therapy, and how do you do it?
Well, anytime you're having pain or anything like that, and it's not going away within a few days to a week, and when we treat things that are more acute, meaning that they are more recently occurring, it's much easier to get that to go away quicker. The
Makes
longer
sense.
that things go on, the body becomes kind of chronic, and so we talk about like sometimes if somebody has things that has gone on and on, eventually, well, I guess this is the new
This
normal,
is-
and it actually stops trying to heal it.
That's
And
amazing.
so that's why, sometimes you go to doctors, give you a cortisone injection. It's to try and stimulate that healing process again. But the quicker, the better. They need most seniors are going to be on prescription from their doctor.
And how do we get a hold of you?
We are located at 25050 Peachland Avenue, Suite 205. Our phone number is 661-05. Our website is www.focusptscv.com.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Thanks for sharing with us. I learned a lot.
Absolutely.
I'm sure about you, Barbara. You know it all, but I learned a lot today.
Well, I've experienced a lot of it
All
too.
right. You've been listening to the Senior Hour on your hometown station, 98.1 AM 20 KHTS. We are sponsored by Comfort Keepers in Home Care and Providence Holy Cross Medical Center. Now go and enhance your quality of life.